So welcome back to the studios of Hala Kuwait. For our next interview segment, we are joined by Diana Hristova, who is a pianist, and we were actually watching a report showing her playing the piano just now. So Diana, looks like wonderful playing, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Rania.
Diana, first tell us more about yourself. What got you into this beautiful art and how it all started?
Well, it all started when I was aged 4. And in my grandma's house, we used to have very old German piano.
Oh.
So the German connection in my life started at age of 4.
Quite young.
And that was manufactured in 1870.
Wow.
So we still have this piano.
That's a masterpiece in itself.
Yeah, it is. It's not playable anymore, but it is beautiful. So I was at my grandma's, who was a very, very old aristocrat woman, and I wanted to play. I was told that that was not a toy, so I cannot be banging on the keys.
Okay.
And then I remember that I said, you know, when I grow up, I will travel the world, and I will play more beautiful pianos than this.
Wow.
So they all laughed. And here I am.
You proved them right. You proved them wrong and yourself right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So Diana, tell us more about what it takes to just grow into becoming a professional pianist.
Oh, it takes lots of practice. You know, I listen every day stories about talent. They're, of course, present, but if you don't practice anything in life, you cannot achieve. So that's my recipe. Practice every day. I practice when I'm happy. I practice when I'm unhappy. Sometimes the result is so disappointing that I just really, really am angry with myself, but I still practice.
Okay.
So that's the recipe.
You would say you don't require a certain innate skill to really be a professional pianist?
Excuse me?
Do you require a certain skill that you're just born with to be a gifted pianist?
Oh, no. I don't believe so, but earlier you start better for you, for the technical point of being more skilled technically. Yes. For the music expression, of course, it's all what's inside you. So there are people that interpret music more beautifully and individually than others. And that's good about any art, that we can express our individuality.
That's true. So how about composing piano pieces?
No, I'm not a great composer. I've tried when I was younger.
What does it take though? Like just creativity and...
I guess originality, ideas, which I never gained. So...
Right, okay. So tell us more about your musical inspirations. Whom do you love to listen to and how they've affected your sense of style when it comes to playing the piano?
Well, I have 2 great musical inspirations. So first one is a German composer called Ludwig van Beethoven.
Of course.
So he was just the most significant composer, in my opinion, in the Western music. So what I love about him is that forceful
very
playing,
intense.
Very marked playing, which is still embracing the lyrical melody, but in a very passionate way. That's what I love about him. And the other thing, he was definitely a groundbreaker. He changed a lot in the musical sense. And the other one is an Eastern composer who is Turkish, and he's called Fazil Say. I found him recently 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and he's following the Beethoven's patterns, but he's implementing lots of Oriental music, and it's so beautiful. Just you have to hear it. I can't even express it with words.
Words cannot describe such intricate art, right?
No.
So tell us more about the training that one requires. Other than practice, would it help to listen to these pianists play as well?
Well, when I was age of 5, my mom enrolled us, me and my brother, in a musical school where that's probably the oldest musical school in Bulgaria.
Okay, so the oldest piano in the house, and then the
Yeah,
oldest
yeah,
school.
yeah, yeah, and the oldest pianist.
Cool.
So we started together as a duo, and we were very successful. After 8 years of studying piano, my brother quit, so he decided he wanted to do other studies, and I continued myself. The training I got, I was very blessed to have one of the best professors in music. So they didn't only teach me to keep practicing, they gave me some piece of their souls as well.
That is beautiful. And it's great to hear you've been passionate for all those years. So is that what it requires? I mean, why did your brother quit when you just continued to play?
Well, you have to ask him about that. I always knew I wanted to do music. That helps me express myself best. That's my center. That's where everything else originates from. It's just what I do best.
Right, so you find it to be a more like spiritual art where you can really express yourself.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the music.
Yeah, probably it's not, yeah.
Tell us more about what you're doing here in Kuwait. Are you offering courses or what's going on?
Well, I am actually an educator, and I teach in a Kuwait English school. So
tell us more about your students then. What's the
well,
feedback
yeah, I
from
can
them?
tell you. I have one student who recently won competition which was organized by the Polish embassy, marking the 100 years of the Polish independence. So I was extremely proud of him.
That's amazing to hear, right? It makes you so proud as a teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. And then do you find that these young students, the children, practice and like learn quickly, or they're not so interested in music, you would say?
Oh, I think that in a way, Kuwait is a ground, if you know what I mean. It's a place from where you can start to build and prove yourself. That's what I love about Kuwait, that you can be a founder. So you find these young students and you really shape them, you mold them, and then you see your footprints into their music, into the way they play, even the way they act. So we teach each other. I learn from them, they learn from me.
Right.
It's a great process.
Well, I want some advice perhaps for the parents watching us who want to get their children more involved in music, but the child is just a little hesitant. How would you go about that?
I recommend every student, every child plays an instrument, any instrument, just because that's the perfect workout for the brain.
For the brain.
It trains your eyes, your hands, your feet, your hearing. All the senses are involved when you play music.
Yes, and your soul as well.
And if you think of other arts or science or even sports, how many senses you involve when you do them.
Right.
Which is why I recommend from developmental point of view to play any instrument, even for 1 year.
Well, Diana, I have a friend who started playing at a very young age, and I was telling you earlier how she's been playing for 12 years, and then she just recently started getting infection in her wrist. So is there a risk when you play the piano such vigorously that you infect your wrist? Do you have to stretch it a certain way, or what happened there?
You can do some type of stretching, but mostly you need to have the proper position when you play.
Okay.
We, including me, when we find that the piece we are mastering is kind of demanding, we tend to tighten our wrist.
How do you do that? Do you wrap something around your wrist?
It comes naturally. No, we tighten it naturally. So when the wrist is tight, the action of the fingers is kind of stopped by this tight wrist, which causes the pain.
Right.
And sometimes it gets really, really bad.
Okay.
I think the hairstylists also suffer from the same kind of
right?
disease.
Holding the brush and holding the
Yes.
blow dryer?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Well, when you play the piano, do you need certain muscles to be strengthened as well, like the wrist muscles or the ones around your forearm?
Oh, you do need a warm-up in any kind of
Okay.
activity.
So you warm up.
When you swim, you warm up. When you run, you stretch. When you play music, you first warm up your fingers, of course.
What's that like?
You play scales. All the students hate them.
So like do, re, mi, fa, that's
Yeah. That's the C major scale.
Okay. Well, Diana, we're running out of time, so we'd love it if you told us more about the event you have coming up on Sunday at the Yarmouk Cultural Center.
Yeah, so it started with a piece of music by a German composer, which is composed in 1870 again, like my piano, and it has never been recorded by now.
Wow.
It is being published only once in 1870, and it is so rare, I found it by accident in the second bookstore.
That's amazing.
So I contacted Mr. Bergner, who I have known from charity projects that we've been running together. So I have contacted him and I said that it is really, really something rare. So everything was based circling this piece of music.
So it sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime event, right?
Well, I hope so.
So, Diana, just to wrap up, tell us more about some advice you would like to share with our viewers to get into playing the piano and just stay motivated when they play.
Well, my mother used to say, I believe it was Nietzsche, who
had said yes.
Who has
Okay.
a why to live for can bear almost anyhow.
That's true.
So I recommend you find your why to live for. And if your why to live for is music, then you can bear anyhow.
Wow.
You can bear wrist pain and practicing and dedication.
That's true, and that is such a great point to end on. So thank you, Diana, for your time with us, and I wish you all the best with the concert coming up.
Thank you very much.
So, dear viewers, we were just speaking to Diana, whom is a pianist. Now let's head over to the next report for the evening, which looked at the Sheikh Abdullah Salim Cultural Center.